So, what exactly does autism mean? Hello and hello, hello and welcome to a new video. Today I thought I might focus on the DSM-5 criteria for autism and talk about specific examples to this. So let's take my handy dandy iPad where I opened up the criteria. And I'm going to read the first one. Persistent deficits in social communication and social interaction across multiple contexts, as manifested currently or in history by deficits in social emotional reciprocity, ranging, for example, from abnormal social approach and failure of normal back and forth conversation to reduced sharing of interests, emotions, or affect, to failure to initiate or respond to social interaction. So this basically means that the normal social communication that you have when you come to someone is a little different for us autists. This is in a spectrum very variant. For example, with me, it's like I'm kind of not sure how to start and end a conversation. Like I'm during a conversation, like how should we end this now? Like what do we do to stop this conversation? Not like I don't like the information you give me, but I'm kind of also like my limit with talking with someone is kind of like full now, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm done yet, and I just don't know how to give this information to you, for example. And this can, of course, also have different meanings, but basically it's like you realize that they are communicating differently, or you may not, but the person actually struggles a lot with communication, and it produces a lot of stress for that person. Deficits in nonverbal communicative behaviors used for social interactions, ranging, for example, from poorly integrated verbal and nonverbal communication to abnormalities in eye contact and body language, or deficits in understanding the use of gestures to a total lack of facial expressions and nonverbal communication. As I might have mentioned before, I struggle with facial expressions. Like, I kind of like trained myself some muscle movements that people do, but it's not coming natural to me. Like when someone is like thinking about something, like they do this, and it feels like I'm like making faces for a baby, like to make them laugh or something. But I just learned that, and the funniest story about this is when I was a child and someone like blinked to me, and I still can't really do that. I think I'm moving my muscles too much, but I know people use this, but I've never done it and I never thought about it. And when that other kid blinked to me, what I did was, because that was the best I could do. And yeah, so these things just don't come natural. And so it is with gestures. I know I'm gesturing a lot. It's just I don't think they are very much that like normal. I just do what is funny, and I hope it's entertaining. And it's very Aurora-ish. Like since I watched Aurora, I'm like I'm gonna do this, and I'm just going to be happy with it. Anyway, we had something else that I wanted to talk about. Yes, eye contact. To a lot of autistic people, the actual eye contact, like looking someone else in the eyes, is so unnatural, and like it's kind of very uncomfortable to like scary. Like a little like when someone like stares at you like this, and you kind of get, I don't know, it's people tell me that that's more intimidating. And like it feels like that when people look me in the eye, and I feel like I'm looking them in the eye. Like, I try to lose that eye contact then. Like, I never try to have eye contact. I try to look in this area because I know that people think I look them in the eye, and also the mouth is kind of interesting while talking. And I'm also interested in the muscle movements, so I can study them and try them too. But the real use and reason for eye contact, no idea why, guys. Like, tell me why. Deficits in developing, maintaining, and understanding relationships, ranging from example from difficulties adjusting behaviors to suit various social contexts, to difficulties in sharing imaginative play or making friends, the absence of interest in peers. So an example for this would be that like, imagine being a different species, like going to a different planet, and you see those people there, and it's sometimes to me like looking at a different species, and I'm like, aha, that's how they do that. And I just don't feel the need to jump into like a huge group, because it's just like I have to analyze everyone. I have to see what I can say around them, how I have to act so they think I'm normal, what I have to say so they think I'm normal, and the more people, the more uncomfortable that gets. And I just don't understand why I should do this. And I sometimes do it because I know that in that certain situation it would make me very weird and strange, and people wouldn't like me if I wouldn't do that. But it's very stressful, and I need to get out of that situation quickly. So it's just a little bit more relaxing, and I just can recharge when I'm somewhere alone. And I don't like hate communication at all. I love to get information and stuff, but I don't understand, for example, like small talk. Like, why? That's not useful information. Like, why talk about the weather? Everyone sees what the weather is like. Like, seriously, guys, what's that for? Like, you could do so many more useful things. Like, learn something about that person. Like, like, that person has a history, and there's so much to learn about them. But the weather, why should I talk about something so useless? And apparently other people don't think that way, and you're welcome to do so. But for many autistic people, it's just, small talk just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Then we go to the next topic: restricted, repetitive patterns of behavior, interests, or activities as manifested by at least two of the following: stereotyped or repetitive motor movements, use of objects, or speech. I sometimes do like change word phrases around and make weird sentences, and that's pretty like entertaining to me. And then I'm just sitting somewhere, I'm like, she sells seashells, she'll see seashells, as she leave seashells, and like just an example. Like, I can do better than this, but it's just pretty entertaining to me, and like, don't know, I feel happy while doing it. And I also do this a lot, or this, because it's just so calming, and I love it, and that's called stimming. I love to curl my ear or curl my hair or stuff. It's just something that really calms me down. And the reason for this is probably because we get so many stimuli in our brain that we can't control, but we can control these movements, and they are repetitive, and we know that they will come, and it's just pretty relaxing, and we can calm down with them a little. Then the next one is insistence on sameness, inflexible adherence to routines or ritualistic patterns of verbal and non-verbal behavior. sticking to a routine may be useful, like you will understand that sticking to a routine is useful, but sometimes you need to change things up a little. And I also know that change is very uncomfortable for a lot of people, but make these too extreme. In autism often things are extreme, like think that you are only comfortable when in a routine because you know what you are going to expect and you have that sense of security and sameness and everything is just planned and you're relaxing because of that. And then there's that like fear of something changing and then you not knowing what to do, and a lot of stress comes up and a lot of uncomfortable new things and you don't feel prepared. And this can really go to an extreme. For me, for example, when I change schools and stuff, like everyone is a little nervous, but for me it really made a lot of anxiety, and it's very extreme in this sense. Next thing is highly restricted fixated interests that are normal in intensity of focus. Like, I don't have to explain to you guys that I love art and medicine, and I did do so since I was very little. And I do focus a lot of time on this. Like, I have a whole area, like over there I have a bunch of art supplies. Over there it's me, it's what I do, and I love to focus on it. And actually, I don't understand the problem with it. Like, why can't I? But apparently, that's in an abnormal intensity. Abnormal, that word is like nobody's normal, but okay. Hyper or hypoactivity to sensory input. Like, our brains are wired differently. I made another video about this. The amount of sensory input, like the light coming from there, is a little intense, I need to say. And that's just something that's constantly there. And when you have a lot of inputs, then it's constantly coming, like the fact that there are tiny hairs that are itching my eye, and that constantly, like, those things pile up, and normal people like do easily forget like the hairline or their nose that they see and stuff like that. But I am constantly aware, and this can also get more extreme than with me, where it's piling up a lot. And imagine having all those things, like, there's the light, and that, and the pencil scratches while you're writing, and you're in a lot of things are going around, and then someone smashes the door and you are shocked because that's just something you didn't expect it, and it's so much, and then it's even more. And like, I feel like I'm a little bit traumatized close to, like, it's very, very shocking for me, and I need to calm down after that. And other people are just like looking at me and are like, what's going on? Just the door smashed. What's wrong? But to me, it's just like you already had a lot going on, and then this, like, sometimes normal people are even super sensitive because they have a bad day or something, and like when then something comes up and you're just like, stop, like, imagine that, but constantly. And that's where we get to meltdowns, which is when just everything is enough, and like you've just crossed that border, and then you need to let go of those intense emotions in you. That's basically what a meltdown is. And this can go over into a shutdown, which is basically recovering. Like, I want no sensations at all. I want calm, soft, like maybe a blanket and dark area, and I'm just trying to focus and trying to get back and recharge. Yeah, next point. Symptoms must be present in early developmental periods. but may not be fully manifested until social demands exceed limited capacities. So, autism is something that's there when you are born, but some things just don't come out because first you may not notice because the person is masking, and or it's just never a thing. Like for me, I grew up pretty like everything was fine. The way I acted was fine, and if I wanted to hide somewhere where it's calm and nothing like disturbs me, then my mom was just like, do so. Like I don't care. Like be happy. It is not hurting anyone, and that basically made my life pretty easy in those days where I was just at home. And then when school came and social demands kind of exceeded, as they wrote there, then you realize that something is there that's making things hard for you. Then the next point, symptoms cause clinically significant impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of current functioning. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And then the last one is, these disturbances are not better explained by intellectual disability, intellectual developmental or disorder, or global developmental delay. So like nothing that could be explained any other way. Intellectual disability and autism spectrum disorder frequently co-occur. To make a comorbid diagnosis of ASD and intellectual disability, social communication should be below that expected for general developmental level. So that was basically everything they said, and I think the last points were pretty self-explanatory. I hope I'm right with that. I thought I might just check my personal diagnosis, like all the things that I got from my psychologist, to search for like examples that he gave for social and emotional differences that we can find. Like, for example, has problems with critique and being corrected, accidentally crosses plans from other people, needs mental preparation for situations, tends to have shutdowns, overloads, and meltdowns, scared in normally safe situations, expresses feelings in a weird way, feels different than other people, tends to get impatient very easily, likes to stay on its own, doesn't like big things where a lot of people are, tends to be shy, has problems expressing its feelings, has problems working together with other people, has problems to talk on the phone, tends to say socially not accepted things when overworked, tends to be misunderstood, tends to take things as they are said, likes to communicate with people that are seen as not so normal and finds it easier to do so with them, likes to use more time before answering, has special interests that he uses a lot of time on, likes to follow routines, likes to do things with its fingers. With her, I'm sorry. Likes to do things with their fingers, likes to do things with their ears or hair or with their lips or other parts, tends to go up and down when stressed, tends to talk to himself, has a kind of monotonic speech, tends to verbalize in a good way. Maybe that one is not mine, but it's not my main language, okay? Tends to smile in not fitting situations, often is overly intelligent, likes details and focuses a lot on details, has problems to come back to what was talked about when some kind of disturbance happened, is sensitive to light and sounds, likes lists to do things, tends to stare into somewhere, and has a kind of weird posture and a weird way of walking. So yeah, those were all I found. there. I hope this video was useful and you kind of know a little bit of what autism actually is. And yeah, then I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, evening, whatever. And bye!